Hello, you beautiful people, it is Giddy, and I figured I would stop being lazy and make a video that's been requested of me quite a bit by my Twitch chat and people on my YouTube videos, basically wanting some tips and tricks, because as cringy as it sounds, I'm a H1Z1 veteran. I've been playing the game since like the week it came out, so I've been playing for almost 3 years. And I figured I had some knowledge that I could help share with some new players or players that just don't know as much as they could about the game. I'm not going to go like super in detail about absolutely everything, but I'll give you guys a few pointers. I'll show you guys some scenarios that I'm in and tell you kind of what was going through my head whenever I was doing what I was doing in those scenarios. First, another disclaimer. If you look up my stats, I'm not a very high kill gamer in solos because basically what I do is I play all my games to get royalty out of the way, and then I stop playing solos. You'll see I have like a 10% to 15% win rate in all of my seasons, which is pretty retardedly high compared to most people because I don't play a lot of solos. I play like 100 games, and out of those 100 games, I get all the wins I need for royalty, and then I'm done playing solos just because they're really boring. They're really RNG, and they're not really a challenge. That's why I like soloing into duos and soloing into fives. I've got plenty of 25 plus games doing both of those, but I don't know, it's just more of a challenge. There's a lot more scenarios, more people fighting you at one time. It's just a lot more fun for me to solo into duos and fives. So a little disclaimer there, because I know some little kid's gonna be crying in my comment section like, you're not even a 20 kill gamer, bro. Why do you think you should be giving tips? So thought I would, get that out of the way, because there's always one of those kids. Anyway, so to start out here, even character selection. We'll go back as far as that. I'm not going to show you the footage of character selection because it's pretty self-explanatory, but when you start the game, you choose a character. You can choose a male or a female. I choose a female personally because even though it's been said that the hitboxes are not any different, I personally feel like mentally, if you're fighting somebody up close, they have to, I don't know, focus more to hit a female character just because she's skinnier, smaller head, you know what I mean? So I feel like you can have a mental advantage if you use a female character, but that's just me. That's just personal preference. The first few things I'll be going over here are all personal preference. So let's get into that. Settings, graphics here. Resolution. Resolution's a really big thing. Everybody always wants to know what resolution professionals are using and different stuff like that, not realizing that resolution is very personal preference based. Not everybody plays well on every kind of resolution. So just kind of test things out. The most common resolution is 1920 by 1080, which is native. But personally, I don't like that resolution because I feel like the game doesn't run well, shots don't register well, and I just don't know. It feels clunky. I don't like playing on that res because I don't like the way it feels. So I don't use that. 1600 by 900 is a good substitute to that if you kind of want to keep that 16 by 9 aspect ratio, just where everything looks normal. This one that I'm using right now, 1440 by 900, is stretched, makes the player models that you're fighting a little bit wider, so I feel like they're easier to hit. But yeah, personal preference. Give a few a try, see which one you like best, and that's just the way to do it. Brightness, I'm playing on 50% right now, and this is probably not permanent, but my idea behind this was most of the gunfights you get into will just be black silhouettes, like from a really long distance. So I feel like black sticks out really well against a bright background. So I'm playing on 50% brightness for now. The game doesn't look that good, but I did some corrections in OBS, so my stream and YouTube videos, they don't see what I see. The game is really bright for me, but I did a few, adjustments, so it's not as bright for you guys. Field of view, this is vertical FOV. Basically, if it's dragged all the way to the right, that's at 74, and you can see a lot around you. Like, you can see more to your sides, but whenever you ADS and you're aiming at somebody, their player model is not as big, so I feel like headshots are a little bit harder to hit. And on the other token, if you drag it this way, you can't see much to your sides, but you can see, people's player models bigger whenever you aim in at them. So I just kind of keep it right in the middle there. I just keep it at 70. It's what I'm comfortable with. Yeah. Render quality, you don't ever want this to be under 100%. Unless you're on an absolute trash can computer, because this will help FPS if you drag this down, but it's not really worth it in my opinion because the game gets super pixelated and it's just, I don't know, it's ugly, and I feel like things are hard to see. I don't know, I just wouldn't do that. Render distance, this constantly changes for me because whenever I parachute in, I have it around 2500 just so I can see the ground below me. And after I find a spot I want to land and I'm getting close to landing, I drag it down to 500 because that helps FPS. The lower your render distance, the better your game performs. Just kind of common sense thing. Ambient occlusion, I don't know what that means, so I leave it off. VSync, you're supposed to keep this off. It'll keep your frames the same, like it'll keep your frame rate constant, but there's a ton of input lag, and obviously if you're in a Twitch shooter game, then, you know, you have to have fast movements, and you can't be having input lag. That'll just mess you up. So keep VSync off. All of these I have on low except for model quality and texture quality. Not really sure why. Turn your shadows off, by the way. It'll help performance of your game, and you'll be able to see people easier. But model quality, I feel like if it's higher, people's models will render in better and be easier to hit. I don't know if that's true, but I keep those two on high. I don't know. Test them out yourself. And here's some more personal preference stuff. Crosshairs, 22 is really popular, 23 is really popular, 6 is really popular, 7 is really popular. I'm using 21 right now because it's pretty much the perfect crosshair for the resolution I'm using, which is 1440 by 900, as you saw on the last tab. And then right here, you can mess with the colors. So find a crosshair you like, mess with the colors. Classic hit feedback, I have it on because I'm used to just the little hit markers. If you have this off, I don't know, there's like this splashing effect whenever you shoot things, and I just don't like it. It's really distracting, takes up half my screen, and I don't know. So I would suggest using classic hit feedback, but that's up to you. I'm also a pretty low sensitivity player. I just feel like it's easier to control shots really long distance and get 2 taps whenever it's a really low sensitivity. But on the same token, if you're getting into a gunfight up close, this can be a little bit cumbersome, especially if you don't have a big desk, because I've got a really big desk and a really big mouse pad, and I even struggle sometimes with how much I have to move my mouse in up-close gunfights. So find a sensitivity you like and stick with it. Mouse raw input, I always have that on, obviously. Less input lag whenever you move your mouse around. Reduce input lag, I don't think this works. I've had it on, I've had it off, and I don't really notice that much of a difference, if any. So, I don't know. Do whatever you want, but I don't really think this setting matters. Invert vertical look, I don't really know what that means, so I keep it off. Cone of fire, please, for the love of God, keep this off. Basically, what cone of fire is it has these like little marks. Like as you see I'm doing around this crosshair, it's like in the corners of the crosshair, there's these little marks, and God, they are ugly. And they just, I don't know, they get in the way. Just keep cone of fire off, unless you just want to play yourself. Show version number, I of course have that off. That'll basically just show the version number of the game up here in the top right corner. And I want less stuff on my screen if it's not important, so I just keep it off. Front toggle, keep it off. Center inventory, I keep it off because if it's in the center of my screen, I won't be able to see people if they're back behind it. So I keep it off this way, and kind of I can see more of my screen. And then joystick stuff, I don't even know what all that stuff is, so leave that alone. Audio, you can copy my audio settings if you want to. Basically, these audio settings I have make the hit markers really loud whenever you shoot somebody, and I just like that because it's easier for me to tell what I've hit. So there you go. I keep the Fort Destiny proximity chat off because it's AIDS. Anybody that plays this game knows that the pregame lobby is AIDS. So I just keep that muted. So yeah, that's all that stuff. So let's go into game so I can tell you guys about some scenarios. So the first thing you'll see in game is that you parachute in with everybody else, and this is Pleasant Valley. It's the most populated place on the entire map. And depending on what kind of player you want to be, whether you want to be a super high kill player or you want to be a player that just wants to win, you need to tailor your landing spot to that. Right here, if you're going for high kills, this is storage. It's always a high population area, so you know you're going to find fights instantly. If you're just going for wins, land in a little bit less populated area and just make sure to get looted. But anyways, the first thing you want to find is a helmet, because there's a lot of guns in this game that can just one-tap you to the forehead, and that's something that you don't want to have happen. Right here, as I'm picking up this AK, I hear Danielle to my left reloading and moving her feet, so I get loaded as fast as possible, and I run over to her to try to catch her off guard. She thinks the same thing, and as you'll see right here, I make sure to throw a lot of crouches in there, and I stay full speed. I don't ever stop to aim in, because if you stop to aim in that close, you're just going to be a stationary target that's easy to beam. And she knew that as well, which is why we basically did the same thing here. We just threw some crouches in there, make sure it's a little bit harder for the other person to hit us. Don't give anybody any easy headshots. And there you go. So in this clip, instead of there being a helmet readily available, the first thing I found was a gun, and I heard somebody land with me. So I knew that I needed to get this gun and get that guy out of the game as fast as possible. Luckily, he decides to go for a gun instead of the 2 helmets right beside him. And you see I pick up a 45 right here, which is a one-shot headshot. I get it loaded, he's going for the gun, I get him out of the game really fast, pick up his AK off his body, and then there's 2 helmets right there waiting for me. So I go in here to reload just to kind of get some cover because I knew that he was calling out to his teammate where I was. I hear his teammate coming in and decide to go first person with the AK. I would personally suggest anytime you're indoors to go first person with any weapon you use, unless there's just no other option. Like if somebody really catches you off guard, it's understandable to spray with third person, but I really like first person. I feel like it's really easy to control and it feels better. A very important aspect of H1Z1 is vehicles. You want to spot any vehicle you can whenever you're first landing and see if you can be the first one there and immediately take the keys out of the car and drive off somewhere where people didn't land. Because right here, I go for this cop car, 2 other guys land by me. They realized they didn't get the car, so they already had a head start to these houses to get guns before I did. So I was obviously at a disadvantage if I just decided to run in there after them. So I went down the street a little bit here and saw nobody had looted this place, got out of the car, went in and looked for stuff. And you'll see whenever I'm looting all of this that as soon as I get a lammy, I get a gun, I get a backpack, I don't immediately go look for a fight. Because as I said in the very first clip, helmets are extremely important. I don't want to have a car, have a gun, have a lammy, all that stuff, only to end up losing it because I made a stupid play by not picking up a helmet. As I said earlier, there's a multitude of different guns in this game that can one-shot, headshot you, so putting in all the effort to get all of this stuff and then losing because you didn't pick up a helmet is not a good way to go. Here's an example of being really risky with getting a car because I know that people are going to land here, but I also know the layout of this blue building, and I know that there's sometimes a gun here at the front, which makes it really easy to shoot somebody out of that car. There ended up being an AR a little bit farther from the front than I thought, but I was able to pick it up and get to this window for a clear line of sight before this guy could get away. There was only one way out in that cop car, and that guy took that one way out, and I ended up being able to get to that window before he could get away. It's kind of risky, but you can guarantee yourself a kill and probably the car. If nobody was close to it, that'll snag it. The first and most important thing to remember about gunfights is to pick the pace of your shots. A lot of new players feel the need to just shoot as fast as they can, whether they came from Call of Duty or whatever, but that's just not the case. It all depends on how far away you are from your target. If you're right up in somebody's face, it makes sense to spray. But if you're medium to long range, you need to make sure to learn the rhythm of the gun. There's a certain speed that you have to shoot. It can't be explained. You just have to go into the game and actually test it out for yourself, learn the rhythm, and then just shoot slow. Shoot slow and be accurate. Here's another example of something to do if you land and don't find a helmet. If you have a shotgun or any other gun and you see somebody else in your building that does have a helmet, make sure to add some jumps if you're going to go ahead and shoot at them, because you want to be a harder target to hit and not get headshotted. One of the most important things about getting in gunfights on H1Z1 is being unpredictable. You see me get parallel to this guy with my car, so I have plenty of cover to hide behind. And he does a pretty good job of E-nassing me right here to avoid my shots, and he gets cover behind the rock, which is a good play by him. But whenever I'm back here, I want to make sure to peek left and right, but I don't want to do just left, right, left, right, left, right, because that'll be predictable and that guy can pre-fire me. You see me pre-firing each side of this rock a few number of times, just waiting for him to make the mistake by walking into my bullet. But you see me peeking out from the right a few times, peeking from the left. That was an accidental report because my crouch button is my left control. But I'm peeking out a few times, and eventually he makes the mistake of peeking a little bit too long and staying completely still, and he's an easy 2-tap. Among actually getting around the map, the car has plenty of other uses, probably the most important being cover. As you see right here, I don't get completely parallel to this guy like I should. You want to get completely parallel so that there's not any angles that they can take advantage of to shoot you underneath the car. And you always want to hide behind the wheel. The wheel is going to be your most cover underneath the car, but you need to make sure that the other person cannot see your big toe sticking out from the side. And right here in this yard, I hear another guy walking in the grass. Sound is probably the most important thing in this game, I would say. You see me hit him with a few jumping shotguns, which you want to do. If you see somebody in a yard, you want to make sure to just jump over the fence and shotgun them. You're not an easy target because you're jumping all over the place, and you want to make sure not to keep jumping in the same place. You just want to jump around. You're going to be hard to hit, and it'll be an easy kill. I talked about making sure to have your car parallel earlier so that your feet don't get shot underneath. So this is going to be an example of seeing somebody's feet underneath an object and shooting them. You always want to be wary of the angle where the person is that you're fighting, because this guy doesn't seem to realize I can see his feet. Even after I hit him 3 times, he doesn't move from these back wheels. So I know he's at 25 HP, decide to push with a shotgun, and there's not really anything this guy can do here. If he lands a lucky shotgun shot, so be it, but I had a lammy, I was pretty confident, but just pay attention to your surroundings. Another example of paying attention to your surroundings is always knowing where barrels are. You'll see a lot of people use barrels to get kills because a lot of the times they're just bad and barrels are pretty easy free kills. Right here I see a barrel because I'm bad and decide to shoot at it, and you'll see it does 25 damage to me from that far, so I can only imagine how much damage it did to that guy over there in the corner that you see. So I know he's hurt. I'm able to easily take him out with 2 shotgun blasts from that far away because of how bad he was hurt, and there you go. Here's an example of predicting movements and putting pre-fires on target. My big mistake here was that I was going left and right constantly. I didn't really add any left, right, left, right. Like, I wasn't being unpredictable with my movements around the tree. So if this guy was a good player, he could have easily pre-fired me, but luckily my pre-fires worked out. He walked into my 2-tap, and he's dead. This is an example of the other player making a pretty huge mistake. I see this Jeep coming straight at me down the middle of the road, and normally I would have been dead right here, but he made an extremely big mistake. There's not a lot of cover behind this car. You can easily get shot underneath, but he peeks really wide around his Jeep, so I know that in order for him to get back to cover, all I need to do is put the bullet where he's going to be strafing back into to get to cover. It was an easy 2-tap. Bad mistake by him. Here's a mistake that I made that I wanted to share just in case you're ever in the same situation. There's this guy behind this rock. He's not the problem. I end up taking him out really fast with a 1-tap right here. There's a guy in a truck out in the field. I put some shots over there because I know he's there, but also Pleasant Valley's behind me. I just came out of PV, which, as I went over earlier, is a very populated area. I land 3 shots on this guy. He was 1 shot away from dying. Get 2-tapped in the back from some guy that came out of PV. I was paying attention to that other fight for way too long, was not paying attention to my surroundings, and I paid for it. A very important part to gunfights in this game is knowing bullet drop and bullet lead. As you'll see, I aim pretty far in front of this guy to take off his helmet when he's driving in the car, and this guy ended up being American. The tricky thing about this is you never know what region the person is from that you're fighting, so the bullet lead is always a little bit different. I managed to nab this guy's helmet like 3 or 4 times, by the way. He's a really good player, too. I think he was royalty. But I ended up taking this guy out all because of that very first helmet shot when he was driving away. Just learning bullet lead and bullet drop is not something I can really explain. It's something you have to learn in game because it's just, I don't know, it's more of a feel than something that can be explained. But anyways, pretty nice kill. Looking out for body language is an extremely important thing to pay attention to on this game because this guy had the sniper rifle and I kind of could tell, because he would always stand completely still when he was peeking me, and I could tell that he was waiting for me to peek. So that kind of told me he had a sniper, so I was making sure to duck and, you know, bob and weave and make sure that a headshot would not be easy on me, because if you did not know, a hunting rifle is a 1-shot headshot, so your helmet doesn't matter. So you got to make sure to throw as much movement in there as you can so that you're not an easy kill for that guy. I end up landing a few shots on this guy. He's hit 4 times. The only reason he survived is because we were fighting a little bit earlier than that, and he had a medkit rolling. But I hit him 4 times, so I knew he was literally under 10 HP. And I decided that I was thinking to myself, I was like, should I rush? And then I realized I didn't have a body armor on, and I didn't want to get 1 pump. So what I did was I sort of sneaked over here to where he couldn't see me, and he still thought I was over on the other side. Shot him in the back because he was not paying attention, and there you go. Another very important skill to know with the shotgun is holding a corner, because it can be a very good way of taking advantage of the desync in this game. This guy has no idea I'm in this corner. All I have to do is peek out, shoot him once, and he's dead. And he had no idea I was there and could not react because of the desync. Alright, now I'm going to go over the importance of throwables. There's multiple different kinds of throwables. There's frag grenades, there's stuns, there's smokes, and there's gas grenades. They all do something different, but they all kind of have the same purpose of putting pressure on the other player. As you see this guy right here hiding behind the tree, I throw some nades and it forces him to move a little bit. If he doesn't move, he's going to take a lot of damage or just die by the grenade. Sometimes you can get like 1-hit kills with the grenades if it lands right under their feet, but most of the time it'll just do like half damage, but it puts pressure on them and makes them move. And right here, I see that this guy is going for this car, and I just kind of, I don't know, this is kind of a dickhead thing to do, but blew him up. He wasn't paying attention. He caught the nade. You know. Right here shows the importance of stuns. This guy's hiding behind this, whatever this is, shelf. I make sure to throw a stun in here, hit him. You'll see he runs at me, blind as a bat, has no idea where he is. And it takes 3 hits, but I eventually take him out with the shotgun. Easy peasy. If I didn't stun that, I might have died. And this right here shows the use of pretty much every different type of throwable except for smoke. This guy's hiding behind this big rock to the right of the tree. I hit him pretty dead on with this grenade. I'm guessing it probably did about half damage or so. And Moved up a little bit because I knew he was hurting and I was waiting for him to run. Decided to pull out a gas, and gas grenades I'm pretty sure do like 5 to 10 damage per tick. So he was not feeling good from this. This guy was extremely hurt, and I decided to finish him off. Might as well, hit him with a little bit of finesse. Have a stun grenade, and it literally lands right beside him. You'll see he starts running like with a chicken with his head cut off, has no idea where he is, and it's an easy kill. It just shows the importance of throwables. A lot of people complain that throwables are cheap and stuff like that, but the game's called King of the Kill. Do whatever you can to get a kill. Right here, I made a mistake of not making my car completely parallel. I don't have a lot of cover here to work with, but I make sure to put the pressure on this guy with a grenade. I throw it, and it hits his car. I take his helmet off. One thing to do whenever you're throwing nades at cars is always be ready, because a lot of times when somebody hears a nade land at the car, people will do what this guy does and hop back in and try to drive away. So just start putting shots on the driver's seat, and you might land a lucky 2-tap every once in a while. Right here is an example of using a throwable for another advantage, to make somebody panic. Right after I throw this nade, I know this guy's going to want to escape, so I start shooting his car. I know this Jeep does not have any boost, so he's basically a sitting duck. The Jeep has pretty big windows, so it's easy to shoot people out of it. Land a headshot on him, game over. And these are clips from team games, but they can also be applicable to solo matches. Just, if you fight somebody and somebody else in a solo hears that, they're going to want to come challenge you because they're just going to assume you're hurt. This guy knows he hits me, so he's going to get really aggressive and come running out of here. He has no idea where I am, so that's the mistake on his part. He's not sure where I am, and he just kind of runs out there reckless. It's going to be an easy spray down for me. But I see his teammate to my left. You're going to see him jumping along the fence. I know that he's eventually going to get to my left on the other side to where I won't be able to see him anymore. So I decide to take the smart way out here by shooting down this fence and going up to the top floor of this house. You can actually punch out a window up here, jump through it, and get on the roof. And I know that this guy will not be expecting that because his friend is probably spectating him by now, so he doesn't know where I am. And so I sit on this roof. He's exactly where I thought he would be, flanking. He has no idea I'm up here, and it's just an easy spray down. In this clip right here, I hear this guy picking up guns, so I go in there and shoot him. I hear his teammate to my left outside, so I know he's going to come through this garage door. His teammate right there is giving him call-outs. After I shoot right here, he's going to be expecting me to come out that garage door, so I blow out this window, and it's an easy shotgun cleanup. This car is full of people. I take off a helmet, so right off the bat, they're going to get really aggressive because one of their players are hurt. I take off that guy around the corner, keep running this way. This guy lands an AK shot on me, so they know I'm hurt. I know that there's going to be some people that rush me a little bit. I sort of make a mistake right here and peek out too early and shoot this guy. I took an unnecessary bullet for it, and I'm pretty low HP, and just decided to go in this building, kind of make some noise, just making them think I'm where I'm not. And you see me go first person. As I mentioned earlier, first person is always best when you're indoors, just a lot less cluttered. And you see me take out these guys just by being patient and making sure to keep my movements fluid. All right, so these clips are going to be about staying calm in certain situations. I know that there's a guy on the other side of this fence, so I put my car parallel to him. But at the same time, I'm also hearing footsteps in this red brick house. So I know it's only a matter of time before he starts shooting at me, but I don't want to expose myself to both players. So as soon as the guy from the house starts shooting at me, I turn around, give him a quick little 2-tap. This is just an example of needing to stay calm and not freak out and start spraying as fast as you can. A lot of new players would start shooting their gun as fast as they can right there. There's a certain pace that you have to shoot to have a consistent shot and get your bullets to go where they need to. I'm fighting a Chinese player right here, so my bullets are not connecting long distance, so I want to let him push up a little bit, but I also want to peek out every once in a while to land a few shots to make him a little bit weary about pushing. I end up landing a helmet shot, so he automatically has second thoughts about pushing me, but his teammates start shooting me from the right. Right here, I take off his helmet, so he's automatically scared, but his teammates start shooting me from the right. I end up taking that guy out on the left because I know his helmet's gone, and this guy on the right, I can start focusing on him now since his teammate's dead. I start throwing some nades just to put some pressure on him like I was talking about earlier, and I waited for the push, and eventually he does push, he gets aggressive, he knows I'm hurt. I'm able to pull out the shotgun, add some jumps into my fight like I was talking about earlier. It makes you harder to hit, and there's an easy cleanup. A lot of times you'll find yourself out in a field and you'll see a vehicle whenever you have no cover. So what you need to do is to make sure to put a few shots on the vehicle just in case you can land a few. Because if you land a few shots, people are hurt, they're going to not want to COD rush you as bad. So that's a pretty easy way to stay alive. As long as you land your shots, people will not be so eager to rush you. As you see right here, I take off both helmets. So that was pretty neat. But anyways, yeah, they had the man advantage, but they were hurt, so they didn't want to rush. Something fun that a lot of players in H1Z1 do is biobombing, which is basically getting a biofuel from a car, putting it in your inventory, dropping it in the middle of the road, shooting it 3 times to prime it, and then on the 4th shot will of course blow it up. So basically the premise is you wait for a car to drive over it and you shoot that biofuel and it blows the car up and all of the people inside. So right here I knew there was a lot of guys back there. They heard me shoot the biofuel, so they started coming at me. This is a Jeep with 1 person in it, and then the cop car has like 4. So the Jeep's coming, I shoot it, blow him up. Now his friends are pissed off. I know there's a lot of guys in that cop car, so I get in mine and drive over to the neighborhood, where I set another biofuel bomb up. I put it on the staircase of this 2-story house I'm in the backyard of. I was trying to jump around in the backyard to get their attention, let them know where I am, because I knew they were still mad. So I went in here, closed the door, made sure to set myself up where I thought I was safe. I ended up taking like 75 damage from the explosion, which is kind of retarded in my opinion, but still killed that guy with a nice biofuel bomb trap. I got an exit. I jumped out the window like you saw in a clip earlier, and if the game wasn't broken, I probably would have killed this entire team because I started taking damage from a gas through the wall, which is basically what got me killed. I end up killing this guy that sneaks up behind me, take him out, and take out his teammate, but I was too low HP to kill anybody else. The gas started hurting me through the wall. I'm pretty salty about that, but still a pretty nice clip either way. Here's an example of not getting caught in a bad situation and always making sure to pay attention to your surroundings, because it would have been very easy for me to die right here. I heard this Jeep coming up behind me. There was 2 guys in there. I made sure to keep an eye on the Jeep. I was seeing if they would hit this other guy with a COD rush that I was fighting earlier, and of course they did. And they threw a smoke for some reason. I don't know if they were scrim gamers or what, but I ended up lighting up the Jeep just because I knew it was there, and I didn't want them to have boost whenever they chased me because this Kona mobile was really my only means of escape. But I knew they were coming after me, so I needed the best cover I could get, which were these trees. So I hopped out in the trees and made sure to make the fight a little bit easier for me. Ended up landing a 2-tap on the first guy, throwing a few crouches into my fight, which, as I said, I would always recommend because you're just going to be an easy 2-tap otherwise. I did not realize this guy pushed so far up on me so fast, but ended up getting around the tree, pulling out the shotgun, throwing some jump shots in there like I was talking about earlier, and another easy cleanup. Another easy way to get free kills in this game is to be aware when people are fighting and sort of take advantage of that. This guy and his teammate had absolutely no idea I was there. I heard them fighting with another team, so I just kind of snuck up behind them, took them out, and then this other guy started pushing up, and I was easily able to take him out too. And this is another good case of throwables coming in handy. I started putting pressure on him with these nades, made him start running, and as he was running, I was able to land a few more shots that caused him to bleed out. If you're going to be a rooftop gamer in this game, make sure to not only peek out your head. If you're going to peek somebody from a rooftop, show more than just your head. As you see right here, all I saw of this guy was his face, so he was an easy kill. If you just only expose your head, that's the only thing that's going to be hit. Now, it's possible you might think this is a dumb play. I see this guy and his teammate up here, and I start shooting, but I land a headshot on this guy, and you see that I start hiding my body from the guy on the left just so I can isolate each player. I see that guy, I know he's hurt, I land the 2-tap on him, and then this other guy is in a really bad position. He knows that I'm pushing up, all he has to hide behind is that tree right there that's on the edge of the gas. He has nowhere to move, so he's easy prey for all these grenades. Easy nade kill. Now here's a winning fight. I had no idea where this guy was, so I sort of was trying to expose myself, trying to bait out a few shots. When I saw him, started landing some shots other way. He lands a headshot on me, I land 2 on him. Immediately I run for cover. If you ever get your helmet taken off, don't keep fighting. That's just an easy way to die. I find cover, put a lammy back on, put a helmet back on, and all of a sudden I'm ready to go again after a med kit and a few bandages. He gets aggressive again, and I just start pre-firing the corner. I know he's going to peek from over here. He has trouble landing shots on me because I'm throwing some crouches in there. I'm doing some good back and forth movement between these trees. He ends up walking into a 2-tap. Easy win. I just wanted to thank everybody who watched. I really appreciate it. This took a very long time to make. Of course, it's a 30-minute video, so you can imagine how much recording I had to do, how much editing, how many commentary retakes, and all that stuff. But I'm glad I made it. I really sincerely hope that it helps you guys. And maybe if you got this far, I earned your like, so feel free to leave a like. Follow my Twitch at omgiddy. I stream H1Z1 all the time there. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.